Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another round of the Will-to-Will F1 2019 Tier 2 Championship round number 19 of the championship is held today at the Lone Star State. Welcome to the city of Austin and to the circuit of the Americas. 20 corners compose a lap of 5.5 kilometers, give or take. Are going to be repeated 28 times, these corners this afternoon in race pace. Let's see what the drivers can do, as obviously it is a nice mix of high speed, low speed sequences and a pretty long straight as well, surely aiding the overtaking maneuvers with the DRS into turn 1 and into the long straight that connects to turn number 12. In terms of the tires, it is the softs as the C4s, the C3s in the mediums marked in yellow, and the C2s marked in white, as they are the hards. As of course, it has been showcased to run quite often on this track in this game at least, so the Pirelli Cinturato greens and the Cinturato blues might be used. In terms of the standings, it's Colored Lonely leading the championship. The champion has now a 122 points lead over Lasher, Amateur Gamer in P3, Gary Gunn in P4, followed by Jax FO, as is followed by the Mercedes of Cuba, then the Ferrari of Progza, as his teammate Delta only 6 points behind, Steph Farrell in 9th place and 5 points behind Brazian. The Red Bull completes the top 10. Taking a look at the constructors, it is Racing Point who have also clinched the championship, have 372 points, leading by 83 ahead of the Haas F1 team, with the Williams in P3. 12 points behind sits Ferrari in P4. Red Bull closes the top 5, 2 points ahead of the Renault team, as Woking-based McLaren is in 7th, Mercedes in 8th, and then Alfa Romeo and Toro Rosso, as the two Italian brands are separated by only 5 points. So with that, we can get ourselves started with our qualifying session for this USA Grand Prix. Just going to get everything sorted out. My second monitor, as you guys can see, we have a 15 driver grid today. Just making sure, yeah, everything is alright. And yeah, we do have a 15 driver grid here today. Some of them are already out on track, so the game doesn't look like my sound settings. I don't listen much noise, and now I remember that I've lowered the audio volume, so that's how it was before, I believe. So let's see how it goes, as we have the drivers, some of them on the soft, some of them on the hards, and some of them on the mediums. Brazen and Razorblade are on the tires marked in yellow. Let's see how that one goes. We are going to get ourselves started by following Amateur Gamer, who I believe is the driver that is the closest to starting a lap. If he overtakes the Renault, that's right in, the Ferrari, that's right in front of him. Not sure if he's going to. Nonetheless, the Northern Irishman has had the not greatest of results in the past 4 races. A DNF at Singapore, a 4th place finish at Russia, and a DNF at Japan. Then he wasn't able to show up for Mexico, so unfortunately he has no chance of getting to the top of the championship by the end of the season. But at least he hasn't finished below 4th the entirety of the season. He finished 4th in Silverstone and 4th at the Sochi Autodrome. So let's see how it goes, as in the meantime we do have some drivers already starting with their laps. Quite a few of them, actually. We have Brazian already starting his lap, with Lasher, the winner of last week's Grand Prix, right behind him. Brazian was also trying to get some good points after his 3-race absence. Unfortunately, he didn't score any points since Italy. With that 8th place finish, looks like he's letting the Haas through, so maybe invalidated his lap. Lasher comes through the number 13, and he seems to be in good form. He got himself P2 at Japan, a DNF at Russia, unfortunately, but the P2 at Japan and his first win of the season is 5th, 6th podium of the season. And he took the number 13 of the Haas to the top step at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Let's see what he does here a bit further north in terms of the American continent, sorry. Let's see how it goes for him as he gets himself through the more technical third sector. Now to this reverse turn 8 from Turkey, the very long turn 17 and 18. It's actually 2 corners officially for approaching the quick left-hander of turn 19, and a bit slower turn number 20, a bit tighter. Let's see how he does. He needs to get the power down smoothly. He's going to get himself through the line. It's going to be P2 for now with 1:33.0. Progza is the leader so far with a 32.8. Amateur Gamer, he's going to be the next one, I believe, to complete the lap. Maybe, yeah, he's going to be the next one to complete the lap, but he's going to abort it as Delta right in front of him on the hards. Let's see what he does. He's derating. That didn't stop him from getting 6th place with a 1:35.7. Not too bad, despite being 7/10 behind Call It Lonely, who also made a lap on the hards. Robin Yule is just started with his lap, going to check up on him later. Radek is at the same point. Jack FO completed the lap but got invalidated, unfortunately for him. Steph Farrell adds the same fate and vocalized. Let's see what he does. He'll finish 6th place on his debut at Japan. Unfortunately couldn't score at Mexico. Let's see what position he brings the number 69 Racing Point to by the end of this lap. Gets himself to the last 2 corners of these American layouts. Let's see how he does. He's already derating, won't help him too much on the exit of this corner. He's going to cross over the line. P4 for the time being, worst classified out of the soft runners. He's not too far away though from the cars ahead. Just under 2/10 from Gary Gunn. A bit far away from Lasher. Progza gained quite a bit on him, to be honest. But let's see how that one goes as Jax FO completes his 2nd attempt with P2, 1:32.9, so you only have 2 cars lapping in the 1:32s for now at least. Let's see Goziag what he does as he's currently in sector 2, and Steph Farrell gets on the hards a 35.2, splits the previous hard time setters. Gets himself P8 for the time being. Robin Yule in this Toro Rosso on the mediums. Unfortunate lap from him. 1:42.2. Probably a mistake. And he's going to give it another shot. Radek closes the lap time in P10 with a 1:36.8. Still needs to work if he wants to do better than that. Koziag through sector number 2. Let's see what he does as the Canadian. Yeah, he's able to get consistent points finishes out of the 4, 8, 9, 10. Out of the 10 races he took a part of, well, he didn't take a part of only 10 races, but out of the calendar, he never missed a race actually, so he's taken part in all races. The thing is, only in 2 occasions he finished the race outside the top 10. Only in 2 circuits he finished the race outside of the top 10. He has, whenever he finishes, as he has 6 DNFs, so he has 6 DNFs and 2 non-point finishes, so that leaves us with 10 points finishes for the Canadian. So let's see what he does today. He who has scored 2 points only at Mexico with his 9th place finish. Tabby starts his flying lap. Eager to see what the Alfa Romeo does today. Tabby got a 5th place finish on his debut at Mexico, so very good work from him, very good race from him. Let's see if he can repeat the same sort of lap, even though, not lap, but result, even though it looked to me like he cut a little bit there into turn 7, I believe that was, maybe 6. At the 2nd apex, so to speed of turn 6. Looked to me like he cut it a little bit. He's still going, yeah, he's going in mode 2 of ERS, so it doesn't seem like to be pushing. I think he's aborting his lap and he's going to give it another go later on. In the meantime, Gary Gunn is in P4 for the time being. 1:33.5, his best lap as he's preparing another attempt. Let's see how it goes for the Renault. Gary Gunn, who is currently in 14th in the championship, quite far away from the top 3. I don't think it's feasible for him to get to those 3 places, but he's trying to get away from Jax FO, has had brilliant results as of late, especially P3 at Japan. And, sorry, not P3 at Japan, but 2 wins in a row. Sorry, P3 at Japan was Gary Gunn. Gary Gunn got P3 at Japan, but JacksFO got 2 wins at Singapore and Russia, despite never scoring a point since. But Gary Gunn is trying to get away from the McLaren driver. So let's see how that one goes. Tabby, in the meantime, pulls into the pits. Gary Gunn is on a lap of his own at the moment. Currently navigating through the first sector. It shows up as an outlap. That's truly not the case. It's just a visual glitch. Let's see what it does. Unfortunately, we aren't able to see the improvement per lap or per sector, as the game, when it assumes he's on an outlap, doesn't show us his current lap time. Unfortunately, this is what it is though. We also have Delta started with a flying lap. We have Lasher, JacksFO and Proxa preparing laps of their own. Colored Lonely also started a lap, and Amateur Gamer as well. Let's see how that one goes for them. Oh, Gary Gunn neutralized this lap, unfortunately for him, so Delta currently 3/10 up on his previous fastest lap through Sector 2. At the moment, Amateur Gamer also through Sector 2, but not sure. Yes, he just started Sector 2, so he's a bit behind. Colored Lonely is aborting his lap, he's pulling himself into the pits, so he won't be improving on that 35.0. Delta is going to reach the end of Sector 2 soon, after the left-hander of turn number 12. He is improving by over a second and a half. Very nicely done from Delta there, as he gets through the double right-hander of turns 13 and 14, and now turn 15 and 16, basically the reverse of 13 and 14. It's the opposite direction, and it's also done under braking instead of under acceleration. Let's see how it does. Gets through the very quick turn 19, goes wide there. Could it be the end of his lap? Could it be a nullification? I'm not sure. He's already derating. He's going to cross the line, P4, and look at how close that was to Lasher's lap time. Very nicely done from the Ferrari driver, no doubt. Amateur Gamer is coming through, but he's pulling to the pit, so he's nullifying his lap. Tabby maintains himself in the pits. We have Lasher, JacksFO and Proxa about to close their laps. Proxa is in Sector 2, Lasher is in Sector 3, so Proxa and JacksFO are both about to complete Sector number 2. Let's see what the Haas driver does. He is improving at the moment. Let's see what he does, because Lasher still doesn't have his second place in the championship guaranteed. He has a gap of 13 points to Amateur Gamer, and Amateur Gamer has enough pace to be able to collect that, of course. So Lasher gets himself on pole, 132.6, raises the bar for his opponents. Very good lap from him. JacksFO is going to be next up to cross the line. Can he put it on pole? Yes, he does. What a lap! A 131.9 and a 32.4 from the Ferrari gets back up past Lasher. So Lasher improved the lap time, Proxa exactly 2/10 quicker, and JacksFO is the first driver to get to the 131s. Very, very good lap from him. Steph Farrell, in the meantime, is on a lap, currently improving by around half a second, I believe. Let's see if that confirms. 7/10 of improvement. Going to just take a peek at Brazian. He just started his lap. Going to check up on him later on. We have Steph Farrell on the mediums at the moment, trying to qualify in the top 10 on those. Could have used a bit more track there coming out of turn 16. We're now to turn 17 and 18. Let's see how committed is the Alfa Romeo driver. The car looks stable for the time being. He approached now the last corner of the circuit. He was on pace for a 34.7. And he finishes with a 34.1. Vocalized right behind. Promotes himself to P6 with a 33.4. So nicely done from him. Brazian is going to be next, I believe, as Radek just started his lap. So Brazian is going to complete his second sector soon. Also have Robin Newell and Colored Lonely on out laps. Let's see how that one goes for him. Brazian a bit of a lockup there into turn 13. That goes go on board quite slow there. He did use the first gear, but it seemed to me like he missed the corner a bit, so he had to slow down more than necessary. He's still pushing, still trying to improve his lap time, which he's surely capable of doing. Gets himself through the last corner. Early on the throttle, DRS is going to be wide open, going to cross over the line. P7 with a 33.8 flat for the Red Bull driver. Nicely done. In the meantime, we have Radek, who is going to be concluding his lap. 2 seconds of improvement according to the live timing. Let's see if he's able of achieving that by the end of the lap. He's going to cross over the line. 33.0. Moves himself up to 5th place. Nicely done from the Mercedes driver, who does need some better results. He hasn't been able to breach the top 5 this season, so maybe this could be the race where the number 16 is among the top 5 by the end of it. Yeah, as we jump now to Robbie Newell and Call It Lonely, who's actually going to go on board with the Racing Points driver as he navigates through the Maggots and Beckets like section of turn 1 as he starts now turn 2. Very tricky traction zone as well. That corner number 9 now through 10 and now approaching the hairpin of turn 11. Radek might actually give him a little bit of slipstream. Let's see how that one goes. Call It Lonely is going to open the RS. Radek is slowing down a lot. Ooh, that could have been quite dangerous, to be honest. There it goes. A long wait for turn number 12. He does stop the car or slow down the car on time for it. It's going to make the transition very nice, opening up the angle of attack to the double apex right-hander, which turns now into a slowing down double apex left-hander. Very nicely done. The car rotated a bit too much for his liking, had to do a bit of counter steering action there. Nonetheless, the car rotates very well through turns 17 and 18, very fast to 19. Now the blinding sun might affect his approach to this last corner. Didn't phase him. He get a bit wide. Did it invalidate? No, it does not, and it is P2 for Call It Lonely. Very nice lap from him indeed. P2 only for the number 19 though. Meantime, we have Tubby about to get a lap on the board, hopefully. His teammate Steph Farrell is also on an out lap, a little bit further ahead. We have Vocalized, we have Delta, we have Gary Gunn also on an out lap. We have Progza. I believe Gary Gunn is going to be the first one to start. Yes, he is. So let's see what the man that is 4th placed in the championship, what he does. He has achieved 3 podiums this season. His career high is a 2nd place at Monza. He got P3 at Japan, but 7th place at Mexico. Let's see what he can achieve today. As Goziag is already out of the session. Meantime, we have some of the other drivers out on track. That's how it goes for Gary Gunn as he just started sector number 2. Progza just started his lap. Trying to figure out the order of the drivers that are starting their last flying laps. Delta right behind him. Then we have, I believe it's going to be Vocalized? Not sure. Going to find that out in a second. Gary Gunn gets himself to turn number 12. Razorblade started his lap as well, and characteristic 13th place from him. He finished 4th in both races he's taken a part of so far. 4th place at Japan on his debut, 4th place at Mexico. So, characteristically, not to plan the qualifying session of the Toro Rosso drivers so far. Let's see what Gary Gunn does. He's going to navigate himself to the last 2 corners of this 5.5 kilometer layout. He's going to open the throttle coming out of the corner, open the RS, crosses over the line, improvement by only a place. P4 from him for the time being. Progza is up next. Delta is just slightly behind him. Brazian is out of the session. How that one goes as the checkered flag is waved upon some of our drivers. Amateur Gamer looks like he's going to start maybe from the back of the pack. Ooh, bit wide there from Progza. Is that invalidation of the time? I am not sure. Let's see. Ooh, he loses the rear, goes into the wall. And that's the attempt gone for him. He's coming back into the track. Delta is going to come through. P2 with the 32.2. Very nicely done from the German. Vocalized is up next, I believe. Yes, he is currently getting himself to the beginning corners of the third sector. Steph Farrell is coming through. I believe Tabby was a bit behind. Yes, he is. So it's Steph Farrell vocalized, then Tabby, the last drivers to cross the line. Steph Farrell is going to cross over the line P10 for the time being with an improvement to a 133.5. Let's see what Vocalize does. He's going to open the RS, going to cross over the line 32.5 up to P6. Let's see what Tabby does. He's on the mediums. Can he breach the top 10? It's going to be difficult. Let's see how it goes. Plants the throttle coming out of the corner, and it's invalidated. His lap time is going to start, unfortunately for him, from the back of the pack. So there you have it. It's the end of the qualifying session. Just waiting for Gary Gunn to make his trip back to the pit lane. Going to be it for the qualifying session. Gary Gunn, despite beating Lasher, look at that Lasher. I think he retired quite early. I'm not sure if it was an incident. I didn't see yellow flags, but Lasher was battling for P3 at one point, down to P8. Very unfortunate stuff there from the Haas driver, but as you can see, P3 to P7 are basically covered by 1/10, maybe 2/10. So it's very close on that midfield. XFO though, brilliant lap with a 131.9, only driver in the 31s. Very, very nicely done indeed. This man though, Delta P2, starts from the front row of the grid. Oh, as Progs, I have a 5-place grid penalty. I didn't catch that one. I'm going to try to figure out why that happens. And it was a collision with Colored Lonely. So collision with our championship winner. That got him the grid penalty. Very unfortunate stuff indeed. But that's what the drivers are going to have to deal with. So everyone, Gary Gunn, Vocalized, Razorblade, Lasher, and Radek are promoted a position. Proxa starts from P9, if I am not mistaken. Certainly going to spice things up as Proxa is showing good pace. But he's starting maybe from a bit further down than what he deserved. Let's see how he's able to navigate rivals that are maybe slower than him. Skies are still cleared, or at least non-threatening. There are a few clouds in the direction of turn 1, as you guys can see, but not threatening at all. So rain, if it is on the forecast, at least it is not for the start of the Grand Prix. Maybe later on. Let's see how that one goes. Also interested in seeing what compounds the drivers are going to be using outside of the top 10 to start the Grand Prix. They are going to start on the softs, mediums, or the hards. Probably bet on the mediums, but let's see, as we are going to start soon the formation lap, and now we can take a look at those informations. And only Amateur Gamer and Tabby are starting from hards and mediums respectively. Everyone else is starting on the softs. Very, very interesting indeed. So that one goes, as it's going to be interesting to see what Amateur Gamer does. He was starting from the back, definitely a very, very quick driver, maybe the quickest driver. It's just that he only made his debut at Canada, so, and that really took a knock at his chances at the championship, and he also has scored only 12 points in the last 4 races. That didn't help as well, but Amateur Gamer at points has been the fastest driver. Sometimes it's Colored Lonely, the driver that's able to take the upper hand on a direct battle, but most times I believe Amateur Gamer, when on track, when battling for position, I believe Amateur Gamer has been the driver when both have clean races. I believe most of the time it has been Amateur Gamer taking the upper hand. Colored Lonely though had a bit more consistency and was able to take the crown. Amateur Gamer still has second place at his reach, 13 points away from Lasher in P2. Lasher starts from P7, so that might help the Williams driver a little bit, as Lasher is going to have to deal with some traffic. Amateur Gamer as well, but completely different strategies. And Amateur Gamer, especially if he gets clean air, is going to be able to pull off some seriously quick laps. So we have our drivers lining themselves up on the grid according to their performances in the qualifying session. And we are going to get ourselves soon started with the Grand Prix. We have Tabby is the last one to join us. Let's see how that one goes. There you have it. Pretty soon we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the USA Grand Prix. Amateur Gamer didn't make his job easier already with the drive-through for jumping the stars. Jacksafo is going to get challenged by Delta. 3 wide into turn 1. Vocalize tries to carry on the outside. It's going to have a run at Gary Gunn and Razorblade up to P4. Gary Gunn maintains P5. Vocalize maintains P6. There's also a battle at the back between Amateur Gamer and Brazian, who is already a great start from the Williams driver despite that jump start. Radek in P10. Lasher not too great to start, losing some positions. Progza moves down from P9. He does seem to have damage, very unfortunately for the Austrian driver. Delta leads the way from Jacksafo. Call It Lonely maintains P3. Razorblade in P4. Garrigan P5. At the moment, a bit of an off, as you can see in the background there, for Brazian goes wide. Amateur Gamer is going to try to take advantage of that. Look at the speed difference. You also have Tabby closing in on the British driver of the Red Bull. Let's see how that one goes. We have Lasher as well trying to defend, and Vocalize and Staffarel come to blows. Let's see, will the Alfa Romeo driver take the best end of the deal? Is going to turn into his inside for turns 15 and 16. A bit of a contact there, but the Alfa Romeo does get the move done. Robin Newell wasn't quite able to take advantage of the situation and get the move done. Brazian also great defensive driving, but he makes a mistake. Goes wide. He did very well to defend from Amateur Gamer, but now Tabby takes advantage of all of that. Moves to P11. Amateur Gamer remains in P12. Brazian drops down to last with heavy damage on his front wing. Very unfortunate from him. Progza follows him, or sorry, leads him into the pits. Jumping back to the front, it's Delta in the lead of the Grand Prix. Robin Newell and Vocalized, not sure what happened there, but Vocalized dropping past Lasher, and Robin Newell's also tried to have a go, not able to get himself to 8th place. A bit of a track extension there. He needs to be a bit more disciplined than that. Let's see how that one goes. Staffarel is suffering all kind of pressure from the winner of the Mexican Grand Prix. Lasher is on great form. Delta and Jacksafo come to blows into turn number 11. It's going to be a traction battle now. Call It Lonely as Prime City in the house to witness the battle of these two. They lost an immense amount of time to the Racing Point. Is going to have the slipstream off of the McLaren. The German pulls ahead, takes P1. Defense from Jacksafo. Call It Lonely tries to break later. No deal. Maintains P3. The other Racing Point pressurized from Robin Newells, but the Toro Rosso maintains P9 for the time being as they get to the more tricky third sector. Bit of damage there, as you can see on the left side of the front wing of Robin Newell. Certainly not going to make his job any easier. So he's going to have to try his hardest to keep up with his rivals. Jumping from one Toro Rosso to the other, Razorblades does not have damage on his front wing, but he is losing a couple tenths here and there to the top 3. Despite the battle that especially the top 2 have gone through, it's interesting to see that Razorblade isn't quite able to keep up with them. Lasher still pressurizing Staffarel, wasn't able to overtake using the RS into turn 1 at the beginning of this lap 3. Tabby on the mediums, having a great start up to P11. Amateur Gamer is trying his best to follow on the hards. He needs to get himself as quickly as he can so that he doesn't lose too much time while getting through the serving his drive-through penalty, which he's going to have to serve at the end of this lap. Lasher finally pulls the trigger. A bit of contact there from the two of them. Maybe Steph Farrell was just forced wide. Not sure if by contact or not. Ooh, a bit wide there at the exit. Vocalize might try to take advantage of that. Looks like he's a bit too far behind. Steph Farrell is going to take the RS. Brazen, unfortunately, gets a 3-second time penalty. Jax FO and Call It Lonely go to battle. And Lasher and Steph Farrell are also battling through turn number 12. Lasher keeps himself ahead. Steph Farrell is not going to back down. Goes on the switchback side by side with the number 13. Is going to have to go around the outside. Lasher doing very, very well to defend. Maintains that P6. Call It Lonely moved up to P2 already, half a second away. Ooh, a bit wide there from Vocalize. I'm not sure if there were any issues. Maybe just caught out by the dirty air. But yeah, Call It Lonely pulls away from Jax FO, gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and is pressurizing the Ferrari of Delta. Is going certainly to go down the inside. Yes, he does. Gets wide though. Delta says thank you very much and retakes the lead. Call It Lonely a bit too aggressive there. We like to see aggressiveness, but a bit too eager to get the move done. Ends up undoing all his work. Back down to P2. Amateur Gamer in the meantime serves his drive-through penalty. Comes back out in P13, plenty of clean air in front of him. Tabby already 6 seconds of penalties to his name. Not going to be the most enjoyable of performances from him today, unfortunately. As Call It Lonely goes to battle with Delta. It's going to be a drag race now all the way down to turn 11. Jax FO lost plenty of ground. Razorblade right behind him. The McLaren though does have the RS to be able to defend. Call It Lonely has the RS. Delta still managing to keep himself side by side with him as the 19 takes the outside line. The lines are going to merge once again on the approach to turn number 13 and 14. And Call It Lonely takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Nicely done from the championship leader. Takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Delta P2. Jax FO is able to maintain P3 ahead of Razorblade, who has caught up to this group after all the battles from the McLaren, the Ferrari and the Racing Point. Gary Gunn not too far behind as well. He might also be able to capitalize on any mistakes from the quartet of cars right in front. Delta going to hunt down the number 19, not close enough to make any sort of maneuver. Proxa and Brazen as the Ferraris in the wall. Not sure what happened there, if there was contact between both of them. Looked like they were battling for position. Not sure what happened. Getting back to Garrigan. Jax FO with the 3-second penalty. That's not going to help him. He loses the... Ooh, there's a crash! Razorblade has a collision. Severe damage on his front wing. Jax FO lost the rear and Razorblade had nowhere to go. Unfortunately for him, doing very well to put the pressure on the McLaren, and the mistake coming from that same pressure actually ended up damaging Razorblade's chances of conquering the race. He's going to have to pit because he has severe amounts of damage. Looking back though, or to the front, sorry, Delta does get past Call It Lonely with DRS, retakes the lead of Grand Prix. Call It Lonely some sort of mistake, is already down 7 tenths, maybe not maybe but almost 8 tenths. So Delta has an opportunity now to start pulling away. Of course, Call It Lonely is no slouch. Gary Gunn though, as I was talking about mistakes from his rivals, he is able to capitalize on those and moves up to a P3. So he might be on his way to the 4th podium of the season, his third place of the season for the Renault. In the meantime, Jax FO, I don't think he has damage. Yes, he has, but it's not too much. I do believe as he has gets by him. Jax FO is going to have the opportunity to retaliate though with the DRS. Razorblade takes it to the pits. The McLaren is going to go down the inside of the Haas. Lasher takes the outside, maintains P4. Brilliant defensive maneuver there from him. Tabby and Radek rejoined the track, or sorry, Tabby rejoins the track. Sorry, no, it wasn't Tabby who pitted, I apologize, it was Razorblade who pitted. He's going to rejoin the track behind Amateur Gamer, in front of Brazian. Not by much though. Will the Red Bull be able to catch up to the driver of the younger sister team. He does catch up, not close enough to overtake, and I also imagine Razorblade to be faster, at least for a little bit. Chess FO continues dropping down places. He's really injured by the elements missing on his front wing, loses another place. Steph Farrell this time around gets promoted to the top 5. Vocalize is going to try his best to capitalize on those circumstances. We are going on board just for you guys to be able to see how much Vocalize is gaining on Jax FO. A bit of a tight approach there. Not sure that was the best, especially as the rear stepped out there. Ooh, a bit of daylight. Not enough to stick his car in. Jax FO went wide. It's going wide once again, but Vocalize is tightening the corner too much too soon, I would say. Then the inertia and just natural line goes wide too soon. He almost, if he didn't lift off, he would collide with Jax FO. So he had to lift off, and that certainly cost him time to Steph Farrell, who is now 1.6 seconds ahead. He's going to get back a little bit due to the fact that he's going to be able to use the RS, if I'm not mistaken, as Tabby and Radek come to blows once again. Robin Yules is involved in the mix. Radek drops down to P9. Robin Yule are going to toe-to-toe with the Toro Rosso, with the Alfa Romeo. Ooh, a bit of instability there from Radek, who is struggling on those. Gozieg, unfortunately, isn't able to capitalize due to the damage on his front wing. He's already down to P10. He was battling for the top 3, loses the rear there. Scary moment there for the McLaren. He was able to keep the car pointing on the right direction. Tabby has another go at the Toro Rosso, not able to take the position just yet, though he's surely going to claim it now. The RS on this very long straight down towards turn 12. Radek tries to close in, taking the double slipstream effect. He's going to send it down the inside of both of them. Collides with Tabby, gives damage to the Alfa Romeo, and Robin Yule says thank you very much. Has the opportunity to go around the outside of Tabby to turns 13 and 14. If he just held it a little bit longer, he would get the inside of the following turn. Nonetheless, Tabby was still able to retain his 7th place, but Radek beats too eager there, collides with the Alfa Romeo, gets damage on Tabby's car. Robin Yule is also suffering damage as Gary Gunn goes to the pits. He's the first of the leaders to go to the pits, going to switch for a set of hard tires. Not sure if he's going to take those to the end. I suppose so. Going to try to take those to the end. Robin Yule does the same. He's going to have to switch front wings, surely, but he is going for a set of mediums. So a 2-stop, it looks like, from the Toro Rosso driver. Going to rejoin the track in 14th place. XFO on the hards, already out of the with a new set of tires and front wing. Down in P13, Brazian keeps up with Razorblade. Razorblade, who has had a big amount of penalties as Goziag is out of the Grand Prix. Goziag lost the control of his car, is on the wall, yellow flags through Sector 2, and a disastrous day for the McLaren team today. So very unfortunate day indeed. Also Robin Yule having his damage, Razorblade not making a great day for the Toro Rosso, but that gets nullified. Safety car is out, and Gary Gunn might have shot himself in the foot. He went for the hards, safety car is out. He was trying to go for the undercut, and unfortunately, Vocalized speeding through or speeding under safety car gets himself a drive-through penalty once the race restarts. So Gary Gunn is going to get 1 free place. Amateur Gamer could perhaps change his strategy, since he's going to catch up to everyone, and he already started on the hards. Maybe going for the mediums until the end of the Grand Prix. Not sure how it's going to go for him. He does have to respect the Delta, but yeah, this really comes into his hands, especially for those who are on the 2-stop. Amateur Gamer is going to catch up to a lot of his rivals. A lot of his rivals are going to come out of the pits even ahead of him, as is the case of Lasher rejoins the track ahead of Amateur Gamer. Gary Gunn also promoted to P6, Steph Farrell in P7. But look at that, most of the drivers came into the pits for sets of mediums. Will Robin Yule keep himself ahead of Brazen? Yes, he does. Radek in P10. Brazen and Jax FO took a long time on the pits. Not sure what happened there. But yeah, Jax FO goes out there on set of mediums. Brazen does the same. They are going to be able to catch up. So race neutralized. Even Progza could go into the pits. He's not going to. Looks like maybe he's going to try to take those hards until the end of the race. Maybe it's just going to try to emulate the strategy from Amateur Gamer. He has 4 laps fresher tires. So he can potentially do the same strategy as Amateur Gamer from here on out. But so that one goes. Tabby didn't pit on his mediums as well. He could have, especially if he went too hard to the end of the Grand Prix. Delta did. He's going to the end of the Grand Prix. Colored Lonely on the mediums. He's going to try to pull away. Lasher also on the yards. Gary Gunn is going to take the yards until the end, surely, especially with the safety car reducing the speeds and allowing Gary Gunn to not push his tires as early as he would have otherwise. So he's going to have those tires last a little bit longer than usual. So the hard tire runners are surely going to make it to the end of the Grand Prix. The medium runners, though, I am not sure, because these mediums are supposed to last about 15 laps, I believe. Maybe 14-15 laps. Maybe even less than that. But yards surely can do 20 laps, especially after being stuck behind safety car for 3 of them. Let's see how that one goes. I believe Colored Lonely and Tabby, Razorblade, and the other drivers who pitted for mediums are going to try to go on a 2-stop, or sorry, on a 1-stop from now on. Get a new set of softs, I believe. Razorblade collision with Vocalized. What happened there? Vocalized has wing damage. Look at that. Various elements missing from the front wing of the Racing Point. And a little bit of misunderstanding there between the AAR drivers, or the air drivers. So it is a bit awkward to see from them, but Vocalize is going to have to go into the pits. Razorblade takes the penalty. Waiting at the moment now. Ooh, contact once again. Amateur Gamer, 5-second penalty for collision with Lasher. And I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, Amateur Gamer has missing bits on his front wing for collision with Lasher. I'm really not sure yet. The safety car is going very slowly. This is the thing. These drivers, they should only be these bunched up when it's the last lap, or when you reach the last lap, the last sector, sorry, of the safety car. If you are not on the last sector of the safety car when the message comes in that the safety car is going to end, you have no reason to be this close. Literally no reason. Now the safety car is in this lap. Now you can bunch up because you don't want to lose. But all other laps, why are you so close to each other? It's not like anyone is going to overtake you, and you are not going to get overtaken by anyone. Why not give you a distance that allows you to react to such things? Robin Yules, another contact with Radek. The drivers, not the most well behaved today. A lot of penalties under the safety car. Going to jump to the front as Colored Lonely is going to get the signal to release pretty soon, backing up his rivals at the moment. Lasher, a couple cars linked behind Tabby. Not sure how good that's going to be for him. And do we have it? I'm not sure. And we still have yellow flags. Oh, but there you have it. Green flag racing. Amateur Gamer goes into the pits now, which is weird. Vocalizer has to replace his front wing. Colored Lonely gets a smooth start. Delta P2. Tabby in P3. Lasher wasn't able to put too much pressure on him. Gary Gunn back to P5 with all of this. Steph Farrell in P6. Razorblade P7. Radek in P8. Robin Hill P9. Brazen closes the top 10. Jax FO 11th. Amateur Gamer and Vocalized are in the pits. another penalty for the McLaren of Jax FO. Vocalized comes back out ahead of Amateur Gamer, and Vocalized is betting on these mediums to last 17 laps, which I'm not sure they can. We are going to find out throughout the remaining laps of this Grand Prix. Jax FO very close to his rivals, going to get himself side by side with Brazen, and Robin Yule might also join the party, especially as Brazen is going to get DRS off of his rival Steph Farrell, and Gary Gunn also swap positions. Brazen comes under attack from the McLaren, maintains P10. Gary Gunn though, this coming back as Steph Farrell taking advantage of the mediums on his Alfa Romeo, takes the inside line, moves up to P6. Razorblade going to try his best to capitalize on that, who is also on the mediums. Lasher overtakes Tabby though, despite the tire difference being in reverse. I do believe Tabby's tires are starting to suffer some signs of wear at this point, so Lasher making quick work of the Alfa Romeo. Now we have both Alfa Romeos close to each other. Maybe Tabby could let his teammates through, since his teammate has the tires, is on the pace. Steph Farrell could actually maybe bring the fights to Lasher, which would help Tabby, because Lasher would lose time battling Steph Farrell in theory. So let's see how that one goes. Dirty are really affecting the drivers. You can see how much understeer Steph Farrell had to those turns 4, 5, 6 and 7 complex. But he's going to hold on to P5 for the time being. A Razorblade goes wide, and Gary Gunn is going to say thank you very much. Is he going to send it? Yes, he does. Brazen and Radek have prime seats in the house to this battle. Razorblade tries to come back under traction. He does, gets a better exit. DRS not available at this point. Radek is going to pressurize Gary Gunn with a better exit. Brazen might also try to do the same. Looks like not, he's too far behind. Radek takes his Mercedes to the inside of Gary Gunn, makes the move, gets himself up to P7. Steph Farrell overtakes Tabby. Didn't see too much struggling between both of them. So Steph Farrell now has the opportunity to put the pressure on the Haas in P3. You can see from P12 all the way up to P5, very, very close cars. So it's going to be all in the open for the time being. Colored Lonely gets the fastest lap, is already pulled away by 2 seconds on Delta. Delta is going for the long game. He's going to try to keep up with Colored Lonely as long as he can. But Colored Lonely, the more time he gains now, if he's going to beat, I'm not sure if Colored Lonely is pitting. I'm not sure if the current medium runners are going to be able to pit, apart from Tabby, who hasn't pitted yet. Because Amateur Gamer went on mediums, 1 lap old mediums, 2 laps old mediums, and I guess he's betting them to last until the end of the Grand Prix. So let's see how that one goes. As Brazen, sorry, not Brazen, he had Razorblade all over the back of his Alfa Romeo. Let's see who gets the best traction out of the corner. Tabby looks like he actually got the best exit, but Razorblade is going to be on mode 5 of ERS, going to take the slipstream DRS as well. Not much Tabby can do as Gary Gunn and Jax FO come to blows. Drag race once again between these two. Brazen joins the party, and what a maneuver there. Brazen gets a bit too deep, and there is also Robin Yule moving up to P10. 4 places lost from Gary Gunn on the approach to turn 12. Brazen coming out of nowhere takes 2 places. Jax FO though retaliates. Ooh, a bit of a naughty move there, not giving any space to the Red Bull driver, and retakes P8 that way. But Brazen, brilliant maneuver there, overtaking 2 cars in the same braking zone. Very nicely done indeed, taking a full effect of the double slipstream. Gary Gunn moves down, I'm not sure what happened there. Progza went into the pits, but momentarily, because the corner to the pit entry is a shorter way. The game put him a few places ahead. Progza has come into the pits, going to get a new set of mediums that is going to take to the end. Radek he has currently a good chance of getting himself potentially a top 5 finish. He just needs to keep up with Tabby for the time being, who has very old tires, and then Radek could potentially bring the fight to some of the medium or the hard runners, especially as Steph Farrell, Razorblade and Lasher. I do expect them to come to start battling due to the difference in tires. So it's going to be interesting indeed as Brazian and Robin Yule are coming to battle. Once again, Gary Gunn misses the braking zone. He clips Brazian. Does Brazian have damage? Yes, he does have damage. These drivers getting a bit too eager to just send it down the inside of turn 12. Quite some bits of carbon fiber have been lost on the approach to that corner. Brazian maintains P10. Robin Yule is now past the Red Bull. Gary Gunn maintains his place outside of the top 10. Now, jumping back to the front, Colin only has added a second to the timing, or to the difference to Delta since you last checked up on him. Lasher is also over 2 seconds behind Delta, so the German on pure pace is a little bit faster than the Romanian. The Farrell in P4, 2 seconds behind the Haas, but going to try to take use, or to make use of those medium tires. Razorblade just under 2 seconds, so a lot of cars separated. Now we have Radek and Jax FO very close to each other, and Tabi as well, of course, as Radek is taking full advantage of the difference in tire usage between him and the car ahead. But it's then another 4 seconds between Tabi and Razorblade. As you can see, the front wing of Jax FO is really braking late today. I'm not sure if that's confidence on the brakes or if it's just always overcooking them. But yeah, he's really sending it. Gary Gunn, speaking of those who have tried to send it a couple times today, going to take the outside approach to turn number 12. Ragdak and Tabi also coming to blows. Tabi loses 2 places. Gary Gunn and Brazian side by side into turn number 13 and 14. It might turn into the inside line for the Renault. Beautifully done from him. Contact once again with the Red Bull, shoved off the track by the second time in a row in the same corner. Gary Gunn retakes a place in the top 10. XFO got past Tabi very quickly, so he's going to keep putting up the pressure on Radek and Razorblade as Brazian as a spin. Brazian, I'm not sure what happened. Oh, we went into the wall on the pit entry. So unfortunate from him. As Jaxefo takes another penalty. He has had a lot of penalties as the McLaren. You can see now how much time Jaxefo just gained on Radek. Just for the fact that Jaxefo has shown to have better pace, but also the dirt here really does not help any driver following too closely to another through very twisty first sector. Brazian is coming out of the pits after replacement of the front wing, coming out in last place, 14th. Amateur Gamer with another penalty. Amateur Gamer is caught up to, sorry, not caught up, he's been, no, has he? No, it was Vocalized that came out of the pits ahead of Amateur Gamer. Vocalized as a 12-second deficit to the Williams, so that's how fast the Williams is lapping at this moment. Very close to Proxa. At this point, we might have a battle in the next couple laps. Delta keeps on losing time to Colored Lonely. So it's going to be interesting to see, will the mediums last until the end of the Grand Prix, or will the hards show their superiority in terms of their lifespan and allow Delta and Lasher a chance for the win. Let's see how it goes as we have Tabi finally coming into the pits after 15 laps. Of course, the safety car stop, the safety car period did help him conserve those a little bit more. So if even with the safety car is pitting at the end of lap 16, I'm not sure at all what the medium runners can do till the end of the Grand Prix. Going to be very weird to see Tabi going for 10 laps, 11 laps maybe on brand new softs. Going to be very interested in see if those can actually go the distance. Maybe should have waited 2 more laps, but yeah, let's see how that one goes. Tabby, one thing is true, is going to be mighty fast from now until the end of the Grand Prix. Steph Farrell, in the meantime, closed in on Lasher. He's going to have the slipstream, going to have the DRS. Take a look at how much he closes in on the braking zone into turn 12. We might have a big battle between the American driver and the Romanian. Of course, Steph Farrell wants to put on a show in front of his home crowd, I wanted to showcase the amount of positions changed. Steph Farrell, the biggest gainer so far this race, started in P10 up to P4, so I'm pretty sure his home fans are happy with that. Progza has the fastest lap of the race at this point. Steph Farrell with a penalty that might take a knock at his chances. Let's see how that one goes. He's going to keep on pressurizing Lasher. I do believe that Farrell is going to have something to say into the next DRS zone. Radek also closing in on Jax FO with the aid of DRS, even though Jax FO is pulling away. Gary Gunn starting to put pressure on Robin Yulzu, going to send it. Ooh, contact between the both of them. But Gary Gunn is having no chill whatsoever. Sends it down the inside of turn 1. Robin Yulzo was enough ahead to maintain his P8. But very aggressive racing there from the British driver, as he knows he needs to gain as many points as possible on Amateur Gamer. Amateur Gamer who hasn't been able to get back into the points since his pit stop, 2.5 seconds away from Progza at the moment. So Progza is also lapping very fast, but both of them collectively are closing in on their rivals. Steph Farrell lost out sometimes, so not the greatest first sector, but Gary Gunn will surely be able to get past the Toro Rosso now. The 97 gets through with DRS, moves up to P8, and now Gary Gunn might have an advantage in pace over Robin Yule. That's what we're going to find out until the end of the Grand Prix, because 10 laps old mediums, he also has damage, so the tire wear along with the damage might allow Gary Gunn to start pulling away, and then Gary Gunn, if Radek starts getting a lot of tire wear by pushing to trying to catch up to Jax FO, Gary Gunn might actually get even the place of the Mercedes by the end of the Grand Prix. Steph Farrell, unfortunately, didn't have the greatest first sector at the end of the previous, at the beginning of the previous lap, as Delta gets a penalty. But yeah, Steph Farrell, I thought we were going to see a battle between him and Lasher. Lasher is going to maintain P3 for the time being. Tabby on those softs, 135.6. So at least if he doesn't finish in the top 10, there's not going to be an extra point awarded as Jax FO. I need to check. I have got to check. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 penalties. Jax FO has 6 penalties. So 18 seconds of penalties. As Vocalize takes a penalty of his own, he has a fair share as well. But yeah, Steph Farrell gaining 2/10 through second sector. Let's see how that one goes. Going to be interesting to see if looks like on the 10th lap of the stint, the mediums start losing a bit of effectiveness. So let's see how it goes. It's going to be interesting to see. Gary Gunn, in the meantime, pulled away 2.5 seconds from Robin Yule. Radek doesn't seem so far away anymore. Radek is also lost out almost a second this lap to... Oh, and Razorblade is out! Razorblade is out! Razorblade wanted to go into the pits, I believe, and collided with the pit wall. Yes, he did. He collided with the pit wall. Yeah, I could see him plastered all over the inside pit wall. I'm going to try to see if you guys... Yeah, it's not allowing me. The angle where he is doesn't allow me to take a look. But Razorblade was doing so well. P4 on his debut at Japan, P4 at Mexico, DNF today in Austin, unfortunately for the Toro Rosso driver. Now it's going to allow everyone behind him to jump a place. Jax FO back into the top 5. Radex P6, Gary Gunn P7, Robin Yule P8, Proxa P9, Amateur Gamer get promoted into the points paying positions. No safety car of any form though deployed, so it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. Colored Lonely is showing pretty comfortable pace on those mediums, especially as he's past that lap 10 and he's still maintaining the gap to Delta. So Delta just a step lower on in terms of pure pace as Colored Lonely. I do imagine that the Serbian driver would be struggling a bit more if Delta was able to have the same pace as him, naturally, because under these circumstances I do believe the hards are going to start being the fastest tire to be on. As you can see, for example, as Gary Gunn is closing in on Radek. He did lose time the past lap, but that might be also from the fact that Radek keeps on getting DRS and slipstream from the McLaren of Jax FO. Radek, he oscillates, he gains time in one lap, he loses time in the other. Very weird to follow this charge of Radek trying to keep up with Jax FO. You can see the gap was 4 seconds, now it's back down to 3.6 to Gary Gunn. So very weird pace, quite inconsistent Radek, so maybe he can try to practice that, maybe he can try to improve on that aspect of his driving in the last few races of the season. We have 3 more Grand Prix left, as we have it's Brazil, Abu Dhabi, and I'm missing the other one. I actually do not recall. Wait, no, yeah, it's only Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Yeah, this is round number 19, so yeah, it's only 2 races left in the calendar. So yeah, for those 2, Radek might be able to improve his consistency, because that's certainly faltering him here today. Lasher keeps on losing time to Delta. Steph Farrell keeps on maintaining the 1 second gap. The Lasher is pushing so much more, as you can see, to trying to offset the tire difference, as Lasher keeps on going to modes 3 and is really putting some pressure on his battery. 1.7 seconds away from Delta, trying to pull away from Steph Farrell. He has actually caught up to the Ferrari, and the Ferrari is trying to react. He uses a bit more of battery, but Colored Lonely still very comfortably keeps on pulling away. Very competitive pace, very composed, the number 19 today. Lasher, as Steph Farrell finally enter considerably the 1 second range. Of course, whenever I say that, the gap raises to 1 second on the dot. So let's see how that one goes. Will Steph Farrell be able to get DRS? I do not believe so. No, going to be for the next lap. Lasher also does not have DRS, so Steph Farrell might be able to take a little bit of slipstream from the Haas from this distance, but the Haas really has not much battery charge to utilize. Steph Farrell can push a bit more, so I do believe that Steph Farrell will, no doubt, eventually be battling Lasher for P3 as Proxa and Robin Yule come to blows. Proxa gets through with DRS. Not much the Toro Rosso can do, especially with his damage. The Ferrari moves up to P8. Penalty for Colored Lonely. And we are going to take a look at the penalty situation of the top 4. So Colored Lonely has only a penalty. Delta has a penalty. Lasher has a penalty. And Steph Farrell has a penalty. So all those have 1 penalty, so any positions gained in the top 4 are going to have to be done on the track. We have 5 laps to go, 6, because Colored Lonely hasn't completed lap 23 yet, so 6 laps to go. And it's going to be very close. Tabby might start to struggle a little bit on his softs, because about lap 4 or 5, I do believe those softs drop a little bit in pace. He is getting closer to Amateur Gamer, but even Amateur Gamer who went on the mediums, I really I have no idea why he went on the mediums instead of just letting himself go on the hards where he was on the track and then switching, or maybe just switching under the safety car. So not the greatest day strategically for Amateur Gamer, also for Tabby, who didn't take advantage of the safety car to come into the pits and adapt their strategy. So they lose out tremendously on a good chance of scoring good amount of points. Steph Farrell finally 8/10 and he's maintaining those. Lasher though also gets within a second of Delta. Delta not able to keep up with the two cars behind him. They are putting immense pressure on the Ferrari. We might have a 3-wide battle for P2. Let's see how that one goes. Steph Farrell not as close to the car ahead as the Haas is, was now glued to the rear diffuser of the Germans Ferrari. Going to be very exciting racing in these closing laps of the Grand Prix. Amateur Gamer also very close to Robin Yule. I do expect the Williams and the Toro Rosso to get past, sorry, the Williams and the Alfa Romeo to get past the Toro Rosso for P9 and P10. But it's going to be certainly difficult. Robin Yule takes another penalty. The lack of front wing surely takes a knock at his consistency, especially through the first sector. Delta trying to do the best he can. Steph Farrell won't have the RS. No, he did have the RS. Was very close to not having it though. Will Lasher send it? Getting awful close to the Ferrari. Not close enough. The gap extends to 1 second to the car behind because the slipstream is more powerful on Lasher to Delta than to Steph Farrell to Lasher. A bit of a switchback attempt maybe from Lasher, a different approach to turn number 16. Now gets through the very long turn 17 and 18, now 19. Get to the last corner, the 20th, as he completes for another time the 5.513 meters, or the 5,513 meters of this circuit. It's going to get close once again, and Steph Farrell didn't have the greatest last sector, broke off of the RS range. Now his only chance is if Lasher and Delta come to blows. Delta has a bit of an advantage in terms of ERS as he's using modes 2 through the first sector, pulling away a little bit from Lasher. You can see the gap extended as Lasher is on mode 0, vocalized with a 3-second time penalty. I do believe someone else before him also got a penalty. Couldn't quite catch who that was. Gary Gunn has caught up to Radek. We're going to take a look at that soon. Going on board, or continuing on board with Lasher. He's not taking the slipstream off of Delta, which is interesting to see. Steph Farrell 1.5 seconds behind now, unfortunately. Steph Farrell throwing away his chance of battling for a podium in front of his home crowd. Progza has caught up to Gary Gunn on fresher, softer tires. And Gary Gunn is getting closer and closer to Radek. Is he going to send it? He is! It's going to be going to be a ballsy maneuver for sure. And yes, it was. Didn't result in anything serious, but Progza did get much closer than before. But Gary Gunn is having no chill once it comes to these heavy braking zones. Slasher going to take it to turn 1. Not close enough. Steph Farrell drops out a lot. Is now 2 seconds behind Gary Gunn. Let's go on board with the Renault drivers. You can see very close between the two of them. Radek does seem to have a good acceleration out of the corner, but Gary Gunn is going to have the top speed covered, going to send it on the inside of turn 1. Is he going to make it stick? Progza has best view in the house. Radek molds it around the outside, maintains P6, and now Gary Gunn needs to look at his mirrors because it's Progza looking for that 7th place. Let's see how that one goes. Until, ooh, a bit of a tank slapper there from Progza. The Ferrari was able to point the right direction after that. So props to Proxa for collecting that one. But he loses a couple tenths. Delta sustains once again the attack from the Romanian driver of the Haas. It's going to be Garrigan and Proxa coming to blows once again with Radek. Proxa is a bit too far behind. Garrigan is surely going to send it once again. Going to go for it. Let's use more courageous into the braking, and Radek has to concede 7th place from the Renault, and now the Renault has an opportunity to start pulling away. Going to be interesting. See how it does as Radek goes wide there, and Proxa takes advantage to get considerably closer as we begin the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix for Call It Lonely. The trio that we have on your monitors is just about to finish lap number 26. And Proxa is going to have DRS. Radek has DRS, but it's hanging by a thread. It doesn't have the slipstream effects to add to the flop on the rear. So Proxa is able to make a simple maneuver down the inside, gets himself up to P7. Now Lasher continues on his charge on Delta. Steph Farrell is catching up a little bit. Not enough. I don't expect the Alfa Romeo driver to catch up. 7 tenths at least in the third sector of this circuit, so that he could then take DRS on the last lap. Lasher continues with his attack for the time being. 8 tenths on the German. Proxa gets closer to Garrigan, taking use of DRS this time around. Proxa might wait for this point on the next lap to claim P6. Garrigan does have an advantage in terms of ERS, so let's see what use Garrigan makes of it as we begin last lap. Call It Lonely leads 6 seconds away from Delta. Delta with Lasher right behind him. Lasher and Delta, it's now the Romanian who has an advantage in ERS and is going to blow it all. It's the last lap and is going to burn it all up. Mode 5 as he tries to close in on Delta just enough to be able to claim his place with ERS. Delta though, mode 2 of ERS, Lasher mode 5. Going to get much closer, risking it on the brakes there. As you can see, quite aggressive. Tabby battling with Robin Newell for position. Robin Newell maintains P10 for the time being. Delta is going to try to defend it. Lasher is going to try to attack. Is he close enough? Doesn't look like it. And it's going to be Call It Lonely though, with an amazing performance here today. Going to wrap things up. He only looks like he has 3 seconds of penalties. Proxa though, will he be able to challenge Garrigan? Is going to close in on the Renault. Is he going to send it? No, he is not, surprisingly. He's going to maintain himself behind the Renault. But there we have it, Call It Lonely. He's going to cross over the line to take the win of the USA Grand Prix. It is his 7th win of the season. Brilliantly done. Delta P2, Lasher P3, Steph Farrell, great job. Driver of the day in front of his home crowd, gaining 6 places compared to qualifying. Claims himself P4. XFO is going to come home in P5, but yes, severe amount of penalties. Garrigan battling it with Proxa, both of them P5. Oh, Radek P6, Garrigan P5, Radek P6, Proxa P7, Amateur Gamer P8, XFO drops to P9. Tabby tried to do his best on the softs, wasn't able to get that P10 and less penalties, but no, Robin Newell managed to keep himself ahead of Tabby, so he's going to claim the last of the points for today. And there you have it. This is it for the Grand Prix. Very good stuff from the drivers today. Going to try to bring the podium seaters to the voice chat for the interviews. But there you have it, 7th win of the season for the for Racing Point driver, who is alongside Delta, who gets back to the podiums, and Lasher, who also does an amazing job today. It is Lasher's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th or 8th podium, and it is Delta's 4th podium, 3rd second place finish for the German who hasn't won yet season. So, well,
Hey, Matt.
hey man, just waiting for Lasher and Call It Lonely. Waiting for them. But yeah, in the meantime, going to ask Delta. That was a nice coming back to form from you, especially for the last two races where you only scored 1 point. It sure seems nice to be back on the podium.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but it's such a surprise to be on the podium for this race, as I don't really like this track and did not do a lot for it. But yeah, I take it.
How tough was it? At the end, there, Lasher was trying to pull away from Steph Farrell, was putting some big pressure on you. How tough was that to deal with?
Holy, Lasher is mad quick, man. And me making mistakes and going deep in some corners did not really help. But yeah, I'm glad I could stay in front of him for once.
Yeah, it is nice to see that. Thank you for your words. Getting ourselves to P3, as unfortunately Called Lonely can't attend these interviews. But yeah, Lasher, what do you have to say for your race qualifying? Was that the best you think you could have done, or do you think you could have done better than that in qualifying?
I'm sure I could have done better, but I invalidated my final lap right as I was out of the last corner, so I didn't get a chance to put in another lap.
Yeah,
But I made my way through the field really well, and the hards didn't feel that good, but it went okay.
yeah. I wasn't sure if the mediums would last until the end. Uh, were you were you surprised by the pace that Steph Farrell had towards the end of the race?
A bit. I mean, he did drop off at some points, but then recovered. So yes, I didn't think the mediums could go from that point. I was planning on going hard from the start, but with the safety car, that helped some more, I guess.
Yeah, it did. Well, thank you for your words. Thank you for our podium finishes. As this is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give me uh give me a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is as always right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hit the bell icon for any notifications of whenever we are about to start a live stream or to post any videos. Hope to see you guys next time and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.